chains of fire. The air inside the small hut was thick with the scent of damp straw and boiled roots. The single flickering oil lamp cast jagged shadows against the rough stone walls, making the cramped space feel even smaller. Outside, the distant echoes of war trembled through the earth, muffled screams, the clang of metal, the roar of a distant fire. But none of it compared to the battle raging within these four walls. Nera stood barefoot on the cold dirt floor, her hands clenched into fists. Across from her, her father sat on a worn wooden stool, his face gaunt, lined with years of struggle. His shoulders were hunched with exhaustion, but his eyes, dull as dying embers, were set with grim determination. "You can't do this." Nera's voice trembled with fury. "You won't do this." Her father exhaled slowly, rubbing his calloused hands together, as if trying to warm them against an invisible cold. "It's already done," he said, his voice thick with resignation. "Lord Jareth has paid. The deal is made." Nera's breath hitched. The name alone sent a chill through her veins. Lord Jareth, the warlord of the Iron South, a man known for his cruelty. The rumors spoke of the women he bought, their fates whispered in horror by those who dared to speak at all. "I am not a thing to be sold," she spat, stepping closer, forcing her father to meet her gaze. "I am your daughter." Her father flinched, just barely. But then his face hardened. "You are a debt I can no longer carry," he said, his voice quieter now. "Your brothers are dead. Your mother is gone. Do you think I want this? Do you think I haven't tried every other way?" Nera's heart pounded, hot and frantic against her ribs. "Then let me fight. Let me work." "There is no work," her father snapped, standing now, his voice sharp as shattered glass. "The war has taken everything. The only coin left is blood, and yours will keep us alive." Silence fell between them, thick as smoke. Nera felt the weight of the room press down on her, the wooden beams sagging. With age, the walls that had once kept them safe now feeling like a prison. She turned away from her father, her eyes darting to the small, barred window near the ceiling. The moonlight poured in through the cracks, pale and cold, like a silent witness to her despair. There had to be a way out. Her pulse quickened as she scanned the room. The door too thick to break through, and her father would hear if she tried. The window too high. The only other way out was through the back, where the storeroom led to the alley behind the hut. But she had no time, no resources. By dawn, Lord Jareth's men would come for her. A plan formed, quick and reckless. She turned back to her father, swallowing the anger, forcing her voice into something calmer. "At least, let me have this last night." He hesitated. "You've already sold me," she said, pressing on before he could deny her. "Can I not even have a moment to say goodbye to my home?" His face twisted, guilt flickering there for just a moment. Then, finally, he nodded. One night came fast as it settled over the village like a heavy cloak, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and the lingering smoke from distant fires. The world outside was hushed, save for the occasional wail of the wind through the skeletal remains of burnt-out homes. Somewhere in the distance, an iron bell told a warning of soldiers on the move, of battles fought beyond the hills. Inside the small hut, the dim oil lamp flickered, casting shifting shapes along the cracked stone walls. Nera stood in the center of the room, breathing in the silence, memorizing every detail. By dawn, she would be gone. She ran her fingers along the wooden table, its surface worn smooth from years of meager meals shared with her family. She traced the knife marks from her brothers, long gone now, who had carved their names into the wood as children. The memories rose like ghosts' laughter, the clatter of bowls, the warmth of a mother's hand smoothing tangled hair. But those days had turned to dust. War had stolen them. Her gaze drifted to the hearth, where the last embers of a dying fire pulsed like a heartbeat. She knelt before it, pressing a hand to the stones warmed by the lingering heat. closing her eyes. This had been the heart of their home, a place of comfort on bitter winter nights. Now it felt like a grave. Slowly she rose and moved toward the wooden chest in the corner, the one that had belonged to her mother. She lifted the lid, dust swirling in the air as she peered inside. The scent of dried lavender clung faintly to the fabric within. She pulled out a small faded shawl, her mother's favorite, and held it against her chest. The ache in her heart was sharp, but she would not cry. Not tonight. She moved next to the sleeping quarters, where her father's heavy breathing filled the space. He lay curled beneath a threadbare blanket, exhaustion weighing him down. Nara lingered in the doorway, watching him. She wanted to hate him for what he had done. But she couldn't. He was just a man crushed beneath the weight of a world that had never been kind, a man who had lost too much. Quietly she turned away. Naira stepped toward the doorway, her bare feet silent against the dirt floor. She cast one final glance around the home that had sheltered her through storms, through hunger, through war. She traced each memory, each worn wooden beam, each whisper of a life that might have been. Then, with a deep breath, she stepped outside. The night air was cold against her skin, the sky stretched wide above her like a great, dark sea. The village was quiet, save for the occasional scurry of rats and the distant murmur of drunk soldiers gathered near the well. Naira pulled her mother's shawl tighter around her shoulders and stepped into the shadows. She had said her goodbyes. Now it was time to run.